Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate your time and your viewership. It means a lot. And in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on the brand new fragrance in collaboration with Navitus Parfums and Monika Cioch'S. This one is called The Embrace. I'm so excited to tell you what I think of this one, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I give you my thoughts on The Embrace by Navitus Parfums, a collaboration with Monika Cioch'S, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance videos, whether that be reviews, top 10s, giveaways, unboxing, special guests, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. And so Navitus Parfums, of course, was started in 2019. I am so blessed and privileged to have been a part of the inception of the brand. And, you know, of course, I have really lent my hand in the creation of so many incredible fragrances, in my opinion, from Novus, Virtus, Absolutio, Prima, so on and so forth. And of course, with Monika Cioch'S, she has her fragrances which are called Carte Blanche, and then of course we have The Embrace. And so with The Embrace, this is the Gourmand fragrance, and you know, I am a Gourmand lover. I've been wearing a lot of Gourmand fragrances as of late, as I always do, and so I wanted to really put this one in front of the camera, tell you my thoughts on this fragrance, what I get in terms of the notes, and of course all of the notes with all Navitus Parfums fragrances are conveniently located on the back of this card right here. I'm going to show you the close-up of the presentation in just a little bit. So you think of the name The Embrace, right? You enter this warm romantic embrace with a significant other, and it's supposed to be this warm, sweet, sensual type of a fragrance. Of course, I'm going to leave Monika's impressions down below and the way that she explained it and how she arrived at, you know, the thought and the premise behind the fragrance. So that's going to be down below if you want to hear it straight from her. But I'm very excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with the presentation. So to make it easy for everyone at home, I'm just going to go ahead and read the notes on the back of the card here so that you know exactly what we're dealing with. And you'll notice there's a lot of Gourmand notes and a unique note of sesame. And so you have bitter orange, Indian sesame, absolute, South African almond, already speaking my language, honey accord, coffee absolute, Haitian vetiver, Virginian cedarwood, Madagascan vanilla. And of course, the perfumer for this one is Sidonie Lancaster. And if you are not familiar with this perfumer's repertoire of creations, I'm just going to leave the link down below so you can check it out and see what other creations this perfumer is responsible for. Quite impressive. So as soon as it opens up, you are going to get this utterly unique note of sesame. So you have this sesame absolute note, and it just makes your mouth water. There is something so unique and so different about this Gourmand fragrance. And I will sit here and tell you right now, if there is a Gourmand fragrance that, in my opinion, is similar to another, or if it utilizes a note that's been used before 100 times, I'm going to say, okay, you're going to get something that might remind you of this fragrance, or something that, you know, is similar to the almond that you get in that fragrance or whatever. But in terms of the sesame note that's used in here, I've never smelled anything like this before. And it's just so delicious and so wonderful as a Gourmand creation. I actually had my wife smell it yesterday. We were sitting on the couch together and I said, smell this. She goes, oh my God, that's delicious. She goes, wow, that's good. And so my wife is not the type of person to wear darker scents. She prefers the light, airy, floral. She's a fan of narcissus and freesia and some of these other floral ingredients. So this is not her style, but she loved the way that this smells. So it's going to open up with that sesame absolute note, which might be just a little bit powdery. And I feel like that's used in tandem with the almond that's in here. And the almond is adding this bitter sweetness to the composition that I'm really appreciating and falling in love with. As the fragrance dries down, you are going to get a little bit more of that coffee that starts to come through. Never take center stage. It's all about the sesame and the almond kind of vying for attention in the opening, but then it definitely gets warmer. So you are going to get the vanilla, you are going to get the coffee, you are going to get like this faint ambery warmth, but it's not ambery in the sense that you're going to get a lot of resins like labdanum and benzoin. It's really more about the vanilla in here. And there are a lot of natural ingredients being used in this fragrance, from the sesame to the vanilla. The citrus in here is very nice and lively in the opening as well. It is short-lived, like most citrus ingredients are in fragrances. So it's probably going to linger in the fragrance for like 10 to 15 minutes. And I must admit, the opening of this fragrance is really my favorite. But the power of the sesame in the opening is something that lasts for at least an hour. So after that first hour, I crave the opening again. But there's still so much going on in the heart and the base of this composition that keeps you interested and keeps you hooked and wanting to see what direction is this going to go in, because there is a certain level of non-linearity about this fragrance too. So if you're smelling it and you're sort of expecting it to be like this, you know, almond, sesame, coffee fragrance, and that it's not going to go anywhere. No, it really does open up. There's something faintly woodsy about it. There's something faintly floral about it, but it pays respects to the fact that this is a Gourmand perfume. So you'll see that everything else in here is really just an ornament and an accent piece. So it doesn't ever take away from the Gourmand power or prowess of the fragrance, if you will. And again, like I mentioned, you also have this honey accord in the heart, and then you have Virginian cedarwood. That is namely the woodsy nuance that I was referring to. Again, never gets stronger than the vanilla, in my opinion. And then you also have Haitian vetiver. And vetiver sometimes has a propensity for being a little bit earthy and dirty, if you will. None of that happening in this fragrance whatsoever. If anything, the earthy, spicy fragrance is carte blanche. That is a really unique combination of woods and cardamom. I'm actually looking forward to giving you my thoughts of that one on camera as well. But all I can say about this fragrance is, Monika, you did a phenomenal job with this one. I am so impressed. And I am so happy that this creation was brought to life, because it truly is one of my favorite fragrances. And, you know, Monika was the sole creative director for this one. So all credit, of course, goes to her. And I couldn't be more satisfied with the outcome, the name, the color of the bottle, just everything, the aesthetic that it evokes. Congratulations, Monika. I'm so happy for you. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, this is 100% a unique fragrance. There is no other fragrance that I can quite compare this one to. Just that honey, sesame, coffee, almond thing that's happening in the opening. One of my favorite Gourmand accords that I never knew existed, and I'm so happy to finally have in my life. And that is due to the fact that it contains that sesame. So it's primarily because of the sesame. In terms of the overall smell, this is the type of scent that will have you going back for more. And like I said, I wore this one yesterday. I found myself reapplying it 3 times. Throughout the day. Not that it didn't last, it lasts a very long time, but I just love that opening so much and I want to get the full effect. And so I am a little bit greedy when it comes to that, I will admit. You know, I didn't have to reapply at all, because in terms of the longevity, you are going to get about 8 or 9 hours. This is parfum strength. Even if you look at the back of the box, it'll say here that 74% volume of alcohol, which is much, much less than most other products. So this is concentrated around 25% oil. So other companies would go ahead and call this an extrait de parfum. So it's very strong, very long lasting. The projection for this one is great too. For the first 2 hours of application, it radiated within an arm's length. It didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 6-hour mark. In terms of the versatility, I think you can wear this one pretty much in any season except for the summer. However, if you are wearing this one indoors, you can wear it whenever you want. And that's always my recommendation when it comes to fragrances. You want to wear fragrances when it's convenient for you, when you're craving it, when you're feeling it, when your personality is giving into it. You know, I don't like to put fragrances on the shelf for 9 months only to pull them back out, you know, when it's a certain season or anything like that. And in terms of the occasions, I really think there's something very warm and romantic about this fragrance, kind of what, you know, Monika was alluding to in her video. So I can see somebody really enjoying this one on a date, You know, if you're going to a really nice restaurant, if you're staying at a really nice hotel and you're hanging out in the lobby, you know, maybe having some aperitifs with your significant other, it's that type of a fragrance to me. But I can see this one working really well in a formal scenario as well. There's just something so stunning and so unique about this fragrance. You really have to get your nose on it to know exactly what I'm talking about. It's really delicious. It's such a great scent, really, I'm being honest. In terms of the presentation for this one, I really do like the color of the bottle, the name. I've already expressed my appreciation for those things already. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are a fan of gourmand fragrances and you want to smell a gourmand perfume that is so different to everything else you've smelled before, I would really recommend that you put your nose on the Embrace by Navitus Parfums. Monica, you did an amazing job with this one. I am going to be wearing this one so much. And of course, I will always be with a bottle of this one in my collection because it's one of my favorite gourmand fragrances of all time. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those were my thoughts on the Embrace by Navitus Parfums. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you soon. Bye.